and welcome to Tamara and Taylor's Treat Talk Tuesday podcast, where we discuss treats, business, and life. Today, we are going to be talking about pop-up shops. But before we get into the talk about pop-up shops, let me introduce myself. I am Taylor with Sweet Spirit Treats, located right here in Albion, Michigan, where we make treats for your special occasions. And so now I'm going to let my co-host introduce herself, Tamla.
Hi there. Thank you so very much. I am Tamala with Torlitas for that sweet and crunchy taste. Torlitas is a dessert company located right here in the great state of Ohio, where we specialize in salty, sweet treats. If you want to know more about me and my business, please go at Torlitas. That's T as in Tuesday, Orlitas. And please tune into our podcast each and every Wednesday where we talk about treats, business, and life. We are located right there on YouTube under Tamlin Taylor's Treat Talk Tuesday, as well as on IG, which is Instagram at Tamla Taylor's Treat Talk. I think it is.
Yes,
So,
it
but we would
is.
love to have you if you would like to be a guest on our show. If you have a business, a bakery, or you're a home baker, or you make chocolatey treats, or any type of a product that you think a treat maker or baker would enjoy, we would love to have you. Please email us at
Treat Talk at gmail.com.
treattalktuesday@gmail.com. Treattalktuesday@gmail.com. I think every week we say it differently, but so we're going to put it in the comments section so you can be
We
sure
definitely
to
will.
reach out to us or DM us on Instagram, or YouTube. You can reply to us on YouTube as well. So we would love to have you. We are in our 6th month of doing Treat Talk Tuesday. But no more from me. I'm going to let my co-host Taylor take over and get this party started.
Yes, guys, we are here every Tuesday to give you more information. So this week we're going to talk about kind of like an emergency kit. Let's put it that way. An emergency kit where if you were getting ready to go do a pop-up shop somewhere, just some things that you may or may not think about. It's definitely always good to try to be prepared and have things backed up already that you need. So we're just gonna go through a couple of those things. Um, if you are a treat maker, one of the things that can be very hard to decide is how many treats to make to take to an event. So one thing that I always like to do is whoever is head of the event, I ask them how much traffic do they think they're gonna have at the event. Before I even put my money down to secure my spot or however that goes, I just want to kind of give them some quick questions. How many people do you think are going to be at this event? That will, or do I have to? Is the tables assigned, or do I have to come in and try to get here early before everybody else to get the best table? All of these different things. Are all of the treat makers going to be in one section of the show? Or different things like that. You want to get acquainted with whoever you are going through to do the event. That's a very big thing, because I've come to events late, a little late sometimes, before that has happened, where I only had like 30 minutes before the show start, and then you have to go all the way to the back of the room because you didn't know that it wasn't assigned, or you were in a certain area. So you kind of just gotta get what you can get. Can't really throw a fit because you're already there, and everybody came earlier, have already been set up. So that's one key thing that you want to do, is just make sure you talk about how many people are going to be there and where you can be set up and how that's going to work with the vendor. Another thing that I think is very important is what type of equipment do you need to bring? Do you need to bring a table for your things, or do you need to bring a chair? I've been to some events where they had tables and not chairs, and then I've been to other ones they had chairs and no tables. If it's outside, do you need to bring a tent? Um, and also, depending on whether your event is inside or outside, you would need to know what type of desserts you're actually going to make. You wouldn't make banana pudding cheesecake, for an outside event, because that's lots of dairy and stuff going on. It's going to need to be chilled. Now, you're thinking about if it's going to be chilled, now I got to bring ice to put it on. And that turns into a whole nother thing. So you definitely want to um, get these things, known and worked out ahead of time.
Another thing that I was thinking, I mean, those are the top things that will come to mind when I'm thinking about doing a pop-up. One of the
Mhm.
additional things that I think that people need to ask also, is it upstairs or downstairs? And is
Okay.
there an inside and outside event?
Right.
Is there electricity? If you need some electricity, you want to put up your lights or display show or whatever,
Mhm.
you need to see if there's an electrical outlet near. And
Yep.
also, if it's a huge event, like they're expecting thousands of people, you want to be near the front if at all possible, because some people get tired, they get paid, or some people do want to go to the back, but you don't want to be so far back at an event that people, really get tired. It's like, okay, I've seen enough, and
Yeah.
don't go
Or they
into the
or
other
they
wing
spent all their money before they got to you.
and all their money. Exactly.
I used to
Exactly.
think that people were just like making that up until like some people literally like was like, I'll be back. And they went and got money and came back. I'm like, they really did spend all their cash before they came over here. So
Exactly. Exactly.
that's another thing too. Oh, that brings up a good point. Um, if you are depending on what you're selling, are you going to accept cash payments or are you going to do all digital payments? Um, it's many payment processors that you can use that there's many payment processors that you can use that you can plug right into your phone. Um, I use the PayPal and I also have a swipe card reader so that I can take credit cards or debit cards when people purchase things. So
Yeah, I
that's a
think
good
this
thing
is a
to have.
good, absolutely. And I think this is a good place where we can say all of the, maybe list all of the payment processors, electronic payment processors that we use. It's Stripe, it's PayPal, which is PayPal is a real big one. It's Stripe,
Mhm.
PayPal, Square,
Mhm.
Venmo, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, Apple Pay, um,
It's
Zelle.
strange. It's so strange that all those cell phone companies now have like payment processors. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't think like, or I wouldn't think like a cell phone was just like for talking years ago, and now it's like a computer in your
Oh,
hand that you can do
this is
everything on. I'm actually recording this podcast on my cell phone.
so nice.
So
Yeah,
that's
so that's
crazy.
so
I just thought
true.
about that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I haven't encountered yet any Bitcoin buyers or uh,
Hmm.
exchange of money. What is that called? Bitcoin money
Yeah.
yet, but I haven't been out there in the marketplace yet this season. But I'm pretty sure, crypto, Bitcoin, or any of those will soon come up to someone's going to want to pay in that currency. So it's good to kind of get some information about that, do your homework on
Hmm.
that. I haven't
Yeah.
encountered it yet. However, that does not mean that it's not going to come. You're not going to encounter it. And it really depends on what environment you go into. So just
Right.
caution, food for thought.
Hmm. I've seen people. Well, I've not seen it. I saw a video of some people actually buying land with Bitcoin. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow.
The new day.
Yeah, it's everything's changing very swiftly.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how pop-up shops are going to be in the future with like
Yeah.
everything being like contactless. Are people, how do you get your business out there aside from pictures and videos? Everybody's going to have to be like a graphic designer or like something like that. So,
And also, I'm hearing that a lot of people are doing touchless, contactless payments, and a lot of
mhm.
people are using QR codes. They're having the QR code scan, and then you can pay that way. So that's another area, another digital payment system or processing.
Yeah. So we really have to like be on top of like another thing. For instance, for a pop-up shop would be priceless. I at first I was just like baking stuff because I was like, I just got to get there and sell stuff. And then I would get there and people were like, how much is it? And I'm like, uh, I just stayed up all night baking. I'm not really thinking about the prices of any of these things. I'm ready to go home and take a nap. Okay. So yeah, so that's a major thing. If you have a price list, preset your prices. You can even do the little cards, the little foldable cards, print out your prices on cardstock and make like little card tents and put it in front of each thing. Or I've seen people use like the little metal ones with the clips on top, like they do for wedding
Mhm.
tables.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so many different things you can do. And that can lead into like your creativity, like how are you going to have your table set up for this event? um I normally do like cupcakes and cookies and things like that, so I try to bring props that is going to like have help me out with spacing, because when you have so many like small treats, you don't want to just spread them out across the table. You want to have like different um you want to have different things.
A
Um,
visual, a visual
yeah,
appeal. Yes.
yeah. And then when you like looking, you don't want it to be like something like really flat that yours doesn't like stand out, I guess I should say. So try to do like towers, like 3-tier towers and different things like that. I I bought an acrylic disc set, and that's really cool. The one that lights up. Buddy, go
Oh, that's
outside
cool.
because you
One of the
started.
things that I one of the things that I learned early on is all the items, those containers and totes and things and boxes that you're bringing into uh, bringing your items into the space. If
Mm-hmm.
you buy fabric that's coordinating with your table scape and
Right.
your tablecloth,
Mm-hmm.
turn them upside down and layer some fabric over them, and that will give you height as well on your table. So you're not bringing multiple things in just to set up a nice table environment.
That's a good idea. Multi use for the boxes.
All to use, exactly. Less
That's
trips
a
back
great
and forth
idea.
is that's key for me. Oh, guess what? I purchased a foldable flatbed. So you can put all the stuff on the flatbed, and it's a foldable. I think I got it from Sam's. I'll try and put a
Mhm.
picture up so you can see what it looks like. But it saved me so much, and it was probably about 2 by 3, so it wasn't huge, but
Yeah.
it kind of had height up to maybe like 4 feet, where you can push or pull and have stack your things on there. So if you're getting from the car, if it's a long walk from the car to the door to the space, it really helps out.
Nice, nice. That definitely will save you some time and energy. Because
Yeah,
finding that cart when it's 20 vendors setting up is a tough thing.
right.
I get it does help when like people are like cordial, like, yeah, guys, I'll share this with you, I'll share that with you, and that's a really good thing. And also once you go, you start meeting other people and they might tell you about other events that's coming up. The last pop-up that I went to, they told me about events in Ann Arbor and Jackson. The one in the mall is open like every weekend because they're trying to get more people to come back out to stores and things now. So yeah, so that one is really really good. Always want to network when you're at these events too. Try other people's desserts or other people's products that they make. I found some really cool people. I found a lady that makes blankets that takes like the felt blanket and
Oh,
she
nice.
makes them into like ponchos
Oh,
for
nice.
like little kids. So they go like all the way down to their ankles and they can put the blanket on instead of like a house coat and it goes all the way down and just has holes for the arms. And I was like, this
Yeah.
is so cool, you know?
There's so
Things like
much
that.
creativity. People are really super creative and
True.
talented in what they do. It might be a higher price point, but you're going to get a one of a kind item. In
Hmm.
addition to that, I was thinking of make sure that even if you're connecting with someone, getting their business card, there's so many people that I follow on Instagram now. We follow each
Hmm.
other on Instagram or Facebook and
Yeah.
stuff that I've met probably, I would say, at least 6 or 8 years ago. And we still follow each other's success. Some are in stores and some are, big time knitters and got a huge following. So it's
Yeah.
really nice to see someone's success and because you saw them at their entry point, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So it's
At the
really fun to
ground
see.
level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely a cool thing. So we got networking, we got a couple of things. I always throw these things into a bag, right? So I have I have this bag that I take with me. I always throw my tablecloth in there. I throw some aprons in there. Another big thing that I used to forget, I don't forget as much now, but it's tape or like thumbtacks or something like that to keep your tablecloth from going everywhere um and sliding down. And I don't know like what other props you might have. You might have some balloons. You might have a little like those decorative boxes from like Joann Fabric. I really like those ones. And they're normally like $5 or $10.
Hmm.
And because I normally have like a lot of floral print
Hmm.
in my designs and on my table and stuff. So those are really good. Anything to add height and dimension and just to help you overall have like a really like pretty table. I what else? I usually do like a fake flower bouquet. Um and I have like flowers that match like my business. And so I normally sit that on the table and I have photo frames with my QR code that leads to my Instagram page so they can like on Instagram. And I think people really like that because it's like interactive and they don't have to be like, I'll wait till I get home or I have to save your card because you can just take a picture of the QR code. And but that really depends on where you are because I did one and it was kind of older people and so they took the picture and most of them were like, I'll just tell my grandkids to help me out with
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
then, yeah.
yes, I think having something that's digital as well as
Hmm.
paper, because you do have the population where people are, very much into the digital world. And then you
Yeah.
have those that, would love to have a card or a flyer, even if it's a half or quarter sheet, flyer with your name, who you are, what you sell, and how to contact you. That is so very important. And I know that a lot of people you run out. It depends on how many years, because we know those things are an expense for your company. So some of the things that I've done in the past is, hey, would you mind if I had your email? Make sure you have something on your table that people can write down their email or a way to contact them because you need to retarget those customers when you are in their
Right.
area, you're doing a pop-up, you're doing a special, it's just a great way to keep those people who enjoy what you do and are really take to your personality you want to make sure that you stay in contact with those people. So I always try and get emails. I always have like a binder, even like a journal or something like that. I'm not sure if it's not showing up, a journal
It is.
or something like that
Mhm.
to open up and just put like your name and email and the date, because those things are important when you're going back looking and saying, okay, what did I do last year at this time? Where was I last year? Or where was I 2 years ago? That was a really good show. I wonder if they're doing it again. So those are kind of some things that I try and make sure. Another thing I want to mention, you have such great points, and I always want to jump in, but I'm trying to, kind of wait
No,
till you
no, jump
finish.
in, jump in, jump in.
I don't want to be rude and interject. However, you want to stand out. This is not the
Yeah.
time to blend in. It's not the time. You shouldn't blend in anyway because it's your business. You want people to know what you do, and you want to make sure that you uh, promote yourself. Because why are you in business? Why are you in business, Taylor? Tell me. To make
Money.
money. That's right.
That
You're
make
in
you
business to
money.
make money. Now, it's wonderful to help people. It's wonderful to be able to um, share with people your skills and talent. But
Hmm.
if you're not if you're not going to charge your worth, then really it is a hobby. And
Yeah.
you grow into charging your worth, and because no one gives you the ingredients, no one says, hey, borrow this electricity, no one says, hey, I'll give you a certain amount of water per month, because all those things
Right.
cost. So be mindful of that, and the cost of the setup and of the booth, because you got to make that money back in order to make a profit, right? So
Yep.
if it
Yep.
costs
Yep.
$50 for a table, then you have to make sure that you make enough product that you make $100, or
Right.
$150 in order to make a
Mhm.
profit. Okay, so it's those types of things that you have to consider as well. I think
Right.
one of the things about the toolbox is like I kind of like call it my sachet box, because
Yeah.
there are a lot of things that I put into like a tote or a just a personal case that is essential. It goes with me everywhere, anytime I do a show or something like that. You mentioned tax, you mentioned tape. What are some of the other things that you mentioned, Taylor?
Like you said with the journal, that's one
Yeah.
thing. You
Hmm.
definitely want to have things to write with.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
the props that you're gonna have, how you're
Hmm.
gonna take your payments. If you are taking cash, are you taking a cash box? Does your
Hmm.
company have aprons? Do your aprons have your
Hmm.
logo on it? Are you
Right.
constantly branding and putting your business out there?
Hmm.
Do you have a banner or something
Hmm.
that you can hang up?
Right. Hmm. And
Um,
you have the string that comes with it. Mhm. What about
all those
those?
different.
What are those things that you can hang up and pull off?
Oh, the just like the
Command
white
strip.
hooks. I don't
The
know what they're.
command strips.
Yeah, the hooks.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, and those are easy to remove. So
Hmm.
nobody should be like, she messed up our wall or he messed up our wall because of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are good things to have. And definitely your packaging of your product. I try to always have some products that's under $5, and I normally make more of those. I try to
Hmm.
do things like chocolate covered pretzels,
Hmm.
or I might try to do like dollar cupcakes, and you can do like a regular cake batter and get like and like double it and get 5 to 6 dozen cupcakes out of it, and then do like dollar cupcakes for sale, or different things like that. I try to have different price tiers, so that it's accommodating, but I also want to have something that can make me a good amount of money so I don't feel like it wasn't worth my time. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I
Right.
try to have a product between $50 and $20, and
Hmm.
I try to have some products between like $1 and $5. And I normally do that because people want their kid, people allow their kids to have things, but
Mhm.
they don't want to give them the thing with the most sugar on it.
Right.
So I try to do stuff like chocolate covered
Mhm.
pretzels is a very good thing.
Mhm.
Or you might get like a dollar thing of mints from like the Dollar Tree or something and put
Okay.
that on the table and here have a free mint just to like start conversations with people. But I do notice that when people bring their kids just like, what is handheld? So like some cake pops, um some pretzels on a stick, little cake sickles,
Yeah.
and then you have to be able to get a profit from it, and you also
Mhm.
want people to come and just understand that some things are going to cost more. You can't downplay yourself. You got to be creative in what you are offering to people, but you also another thing that I found is good is like the six cupcakes.
Mhm.
Those are
Bundle
really
'em.
popular. Yeah, because
Mhm.
people are like, I can have one of these for like the rest of the week, especially depending on like the crowd, of
Yeah.
people that you're serving. That's one thing too. You gotta know, or you gotta try to ask as many questions about the audience.
Mhm.
Um, look at the flyer,
Yep.
see where they shared the flyer to,
Mhm.
different things. Research
Correct.
how how things are going at the event or where
Mhm.
they advertise that. All of those things will help you to know who's going to be there, help you determine the pricing, um, try to keep everything like not across the board the same, but just have like different price points because that
Yeah.
way it's easier. Yeah.
It's also important just to, if you're not familiar with the game, contact the organizer and
Hmm.
ask the questions. Ask as many
Right.
questions you want, send them an email or reach out to them on social media. They are
Hmm.
more than happy to reply to you to get your questions answered and things like that. They want you to be successful as they want their show to be successful.
Right.
So it's important that you do your homework with that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And everything will come together. I might actually do like a checklist or something. You just have
Yeah.
to focus on your goal of um, what you would like to get done, and just try to go through the process of if I was walking up to a table or if I was walking up to a storefront, because that's basically like what it is when you're at a pop-up shop. If they were coming into my store, how would they perceive it? You know what I mean? How would it look? That's the same way it should look when they're coming up to your table to buy
Mhm.
stuff.
Right.
The one thing I do hate though, when people tell me things like, "Oh, it looks too pretty to eat." I like making pretty things, people. Please eat them. They look pretty, but they're edible, okay? So like I don't like when people say that, but I really like pretty desserts and things. So
Well,
it's
that's what draws them in, having
yeah.
something visually appealing. One thing that I want to kind of back up all the way to the front before you even hit the submit button on the application to join the craft show, trade show, or what have you, you need to take the time to get your speech together, get your introductory speech together. Because a
Mhm.
lot of people, you're going to say it over and over and
Turn
over
over.
and over again, so many times that you're going to run out of breath sometimes, because it happened to me because it was so many people. But what you're going to do, you're going to state who you are, what your business is, how you got started, what you have available on the table, and you'll say, okay, this price is $5. Over here, this is where you can take and share, or this is the offer for $20. And you're just going to say that over and over again because people want to know who you are. They want to little, it's like the get to know you session. Oh, hi, how are you? And then some people just don't care what you say and just want to buy your stuff and go on. They don't want to have any kind of conversation. They're not being rude. That's just how they are. you know, and sometimes you go like, oh, okay, well, and here goes somebody else, and you say the same thing over and over again. So it's important to know who you are, what you offer, and because they're probably going to spend 1 point, at least under 5 seconds at your table looking and see if it's something they want to stop and go on. So one of the things I used to do when I used to go to those shows, but before I became a vendor, I used to not go close to the table, but stand back and go kind of like in the middle between, you know, the people that were going in front. So I didn't have to interact with anybody because if I wasn't interested, then I wouldn't have to feel, guilty going away or saying no thank you, which you would get, that too. But I usually just let the people, I stand outside the people. So if people are close to where the
Yeah.
lineup is, I'm outside of that, just kind of
I'm al-
looking around and looking and see what I
yeah.
like, and then approach the table. So that's just a little tidbit.
I'm always looking at people like, I see you looking. Come on over. Come
Yep.
on. Come
Yep. Yep.
on. Bring
Yep.
it in.
Or the
But
the best part
that
is
is
they
super important.
the best part is, people come in groups, they split up, and
Yeah.
they're going around different places and finding all the treasures and all the great stuff. The wonderful thing that will let you know you're doing something really good is when they drag the people over. Here's that lady, here's that lady, here's that table, here's the, you gotta try these.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that brings me to another thing. If you are a vendor that has food at the table, you need a space where there are samples. People want to try before they buy. Okay. You've seen them at the candy counter. You've seen them at Costco's or Sam's. They have a little treat table of their specialty. They're promoting that particular day. And it doesn't have to be all the items that you have available. It just need to be one or two items in a
Right.
little cup, or I don't know how it is since social distancing, since I haven't been out at the event since the pandemic.
Yeah.
However, you need something that people want to try, especially if it's really, really something different and unique, but like Torlitas is.
Mhm.
Everybody's not familiar with the Torlitas, which is a white corn tortilla chip with different chocolates and toppings. But everyone know what a chocolate covered pretzel tastes like. Even if you have it's wrapped with caramel, they still know what that taste is because they've had it before. But
Right.
if you have something unique or different flavor, it's something that you created that's not the norm. You're going to have some samples of that. So you're going to have to make extra for samples in most cases. And it's just something to think about. It just comes with the territory, and there's nothing you can do about it. So,
Good job. Good job. Good points, Tamala. And with that being said, do you have anything else that you could think of for this emergency pop-up shop?
yeah, well, I think that some of the other things that you might want to put in your sachet kit or your tool kit is fishing wire because it's clear and it's very, very sturdy, and you can tie it or do anything with it to keep something sturdy. If it's outside, you need to have some sandbags or something for your tent. If it's
Good
a
point.
windy day, so it doesn't blow away, you're going to have to think
Mhm.
about those kinds of things. I like to carry permanent markers
Mhm.
for, if I have to write on something. Also, I like to have napkins. And even if I cut them into like little squares, I like to have those things. Because if you have something that's sticky or something like that, people don't want to walk around like that. So you
Yeah.
offer them a little square of a napkin. Other things are tapes, stapler, wire cutters, double-sided tape, sign-up
Mhm.
sheets, flyers, scissors,
Business
um,
card.
business cards, definitely business cards or flyer. I can do,
Yeah.
you can do either or.
Hmm.
And also make sure if it's a long day, pack you some snacks and something to drink. Please do that because you do not want to be hangry at your table and can't get away.
Right?
Or,
You start
the
eating your own product. Bring you some
eat
lunch
your own
so you
products
don't eat
and
your own products.
right, right, getting high off your own supply and all that
Right.
kind of good stuff. So So definitely pack you some snacks because it's going to be a long day because you probably didn't go to bed. You probably went to bed late and got up early just to make sure that you were going to be there on time, or if it was first come, first serve tables and chairs and things like that. So you have to be prepared. Oh, here's a tip that my bestie gave me a long time ago because I'm always up to the last minute getting things together. She said, pack your car the night before. When I tell you it's a lifesaver, it saved me. Pack your car the night before with all your things that you need, all your tables or flyers or anything that you're going to need. You know, if you're still working on your product, then that can be the last to go when you go in the car. But if anything outside of that, if you're able to, pack the night before.
She is a good friend.
That's a good friend.
And with that being said, this has been Tamala and Taylor's Treat Talk Tuesday. We hope that you got something out of this episode. I just love Tamala. We hope that you got something out of this episode. I am Taylor with Sweet Spirit Treats, located right here in Albion, Michigan, where we make treats for your special occasions. Don't hesitate to come on over to our Instagram and give us some feedback on Tamala Taylor's Treat Talk. Also, if you would like to email us, you can find us at treattalktuesday@gmail.com. And this is going to be a great week for you. And Tamala, do you have anything else you want to add?
Have a blessed week. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Have a blessed week. Bye.